I just ran into Richard McGilvary. He lives next to me. Always a delight. Um, I'm reflecting on what Bean said to me. Bean recently got divorced. Basically, you can't tell a certain age group of men anything. For instance, his dog barks a lot. Now, that happened when he first moved in here. He got a therapy dog, then leaves him alone in the apartment, and the dog barks. Joy. And I've complained before. That seemed to hasten him. Once it went through management, they were aware of it as well, to accompany the dog at the very least so the dog didn't bark. Well, that's not happening anymore. That dog is being left alone. And the dog is barking. So it was 3 times yesterday by 3 o'clock, 3 episodes. And I'm like, part of you, Angela, is getting used to it. And so it doesn't bother you as much. Not as pronouncedly, but at the same time, I'm like, that is awful gratuitous of him to have a therapy dog that he leaves alone barking in the apartment. Then there's Star, who lives directly across from me. He works when most people are asleep, and he sleeps when most people are awake. And I bet you he does not appreciate that dog barking either. And honestly, when I actually notice it the most is once I exit my door. Anytime you're in this hallway, that dog will bark, and that's not acceptable. That's not an acceptable partnership. That and Richard McGilvary on the loose, making up anything he wants, for instance. So I saw him today in the parking lot, and I said, "Hey, Richard, I'm getting my knee rover out." Multitasking as I'm on one leg getting my knee rover out of the back of my car. I said, "Your dog's making noise again." "Well, he just needs to get used to it." Has it been a year plus already? Stop making bullshit up on me. That's Richard McGilvary's fallback position. He just needs to get used to it. I don't think that's acceptable. What I find with Richard McGilvary, if I speak on him, is it would be my right. I have ears that hear, and your dog is making noise. And if we need to assess anyone else on this floor that hears your dog and ask them for their opinion, I bet you they're going to, I hear it too, okay? Your dog making noise, Richard McGilvary, is not a silent issue. It is a known issue, okay? And it seems to make noise when you're not there, and it seems to be you're leaving your dog there with you not there. So I don't understand your premise for a therapy pet. For starters, and then your amiable recognizance to fall back on, he needs to get used to the new place, when we're passing time by year demarcations, okay? What I find incredibly unctuous, okay, like a greasy old man wanting to put his hands on my fucking knobs and juicy bits, is I speak on him because I hear. He makes shit up that I have to teat him. I have to teat his dog. It's based on, he's a vet. He gets paid to stay in place now, making shit up. I see this whole unctuous premise falling back tone on every addict-t. He can think tough. IT. So for me to use my ears to study the language, to make grammatical common sense. He knows what I'm saying. Your dog's making noise again. Then he blathers on me. Now, I didn't have my phone with me. I've not been carrying a video device. But he blathered on me. Well, good luck making friends. Okay, so again, back to the I'm crazy, I'm psychotic. He says I'm not attractive because I asked him not to talk to me. Okay, so then he's like, you're unattractive. As he flickers the light over my work table space in the common art room. Okay, so he does things to try and get under my skin, to force me to speak on him, and then he can initiate any endless bullshit he wants to. Okay, so basically that's the conversation that went on with him. One leg, knee rover, multitasking. Hey Richard, your dog's making noise again. Well, he just... No, he doesn't need to get used to it. And neither do I. You know what? You need to have your dog stop barking. He's like, well, good luck making friends. I'm like, yeah, good job making enemies and passing them off, okay? You don't make meaning, Richard McGilvary. You talk to squat. You talk to squat on meaning is basically what it comes down to. So there you are, busted with my butt. My head to my tail. It's an ingrained malfeasance. He's not a kind, geriatric, disgruntled old man with a fucking hairy pot-bellied chest that he showed me. Okay? There's nothing kind about Richard McGilvary except being a wash-up, and he takes special license, specie-all license, to try and make me wear his amiability for no reason defend. Those are on the better days. Okay? Should I confront him directly with a simple sentence, your dog is making noise again, and factually speak to anyone on this floor, and they know, okay? Your dog is making noise a lot, all the time. Anytime anyone goes into the hallway, your dog fucking barks its head off. Where are you, Richard McGilvary? Okay? This is what he does. I speak on him as one person. He seems to bring the whole throng of, you don't have friends, you're ugly. My dog needs to get used to it. Everyone else lets him get used to it. He brings this whole kind of this recognizance of everyone except for me. Okay? It's the center of his inertia and his laziness. He wants me to foot. He wants me to foot it. Foot tit. Talt the way. Alt the hee-haw way. -T. It's your video today. I might need to do some local marketing when all's said and done. Just to get a little breathing space. Because speaking to the bastard I called Two-Road, TU-RD, does not amount to any yet thing, okay? And he just brings the multitude of his convictions, Fiefin, he addict, to leave vein, debt again, hyphenated. He brings the legions of everyone he's thinking toft, all right, on my lot. So it becomes more of a nuisance. Truth is, I already sent a complaint. I sent a complaint yesterday to Sarah Thurston at Avesta. It's not a formal complaint, meaning I haven't filled out the paperwork. I sent it yesterday because I thought, it's 3 times by midday, and that dog is, and I've been noticing that punctuated about every other day, long drawing episodes of his dog barking. I'm like, you need to be aware of this, Richard. Okay. He said something about, well, his dog hears me in my apartment thumping around. And I'm like, don't even fucking put that on me. You're saying that healing is not my right. And you having a false premise for a relationship is. Always. As long as I could think of something to make it work, -T. Seriously. Richard McGilvary is the poster boy of bastardism combined with turd, 2-road, hyphenated, okay? Come see for yourself. See if he shows you his hairy pot belly for his mirth. He only stands to shirk and jerk. It's all he's capable of. And in this cycle of his head eats his tail, he is grumpy and he likes to cast aspersions on other people. Okay. When and where he can. So people that believe in his character disorder, I would probably bet he thinks are his friends. People that enable it. And people that don't, he's like, you're ugly. Or was I saying something meaningful and truthful and cogent when I said your dog's making noise again and you are using me as a stooge to force pretend you don't know better because I don't want to? Always. Always, because you eat what he eats to have your voice on me. It's really a simple thing. Your dog's making noise. It speaks a lot to you not being present because I've already spent a lot of time living next to you. You asked to move next to me with your yappy dog. I don't know what you were fucking thinking, but you weren't thinking of anyone. Okay? For starters. Then you leave that dog alone that has a propensity to bark. And I have to point it out to you, and then you use that as license of what's my problem? My problem is I hear just fine. Okay. What's your problem? Do you hear just fine too? Get the dick out of your ear and get it out of your mouth. Because I'm not putting it there, okay? Ford and Forge, Jesus Christ's sake. What the fuck? Was that not pretty enough? I would check what you're sending down. Okay? If you don't think that's pretty enough, make a different offering. For the person who sent the proffering. I'm making a video. I'm putting in Richard McGilvary's name. If he has any problem with it, today is December 9th. It's 10:36 a.m. Avesta can look at the tape. They've got cameras in underground parking, and you can also listen to the conversation. I made one comment to Richard to begin with. Your dog is making noise. He pestered me right up to the point that I got inside the door. Said that I don't have friends. Good job making friends. I'm like, good job making enemies that you pass a doff tone on. You jackass. No, I didn't say jackass. I'm adding it now. That should be understood. You didn't bring to. So when you talk back to me, you're a jackass. You didn't bring to, you didn't think to. Now that should be very obvious. I have engineered to, I think to. And this dynamic is because someone on the other end is also thinking to. So let me put this out there. Richard McGilvary has tabled Grace for being a vet for no reason. He didn't put his life on the line. He didn't put a real life on the line. He put R-E-E-L. Put a hyphen in that eel, that water eel. And he gets to have reconstituted narcissism on me and every woman. Now, if it wasn't me, he made comments with Michelle, the person that lied a lot here, and she would harass people, and they left. Now, I took her to court for a harassment order because she decided she was going to harass me next. And then I subpoenaed all the previous people that lived here that moved because of her. I subpoenaed their communique with Avesta management, and then took Michelle to court to get a harassment order, which I did get. And then Michelle eventually moved. Richard McGilvary, what he would say about Michelle, she has a nice ass. Let me put it this way. This is what I'm noticing. You'll see my attitude change. You'll see my confidence. You know, it's been about 5 years since first initiating contact, as it were. How do I feel about men? I feel you're all frame and doffed. Whether you want to or not, you're frame and doffed, stupid to toot toft, rich for no reason, thief end. Dead again. Your ag is your accomplice for placing the gun as necessary to the even son? No, to the thief end son. Okay? How you're starting to look to me, it's kind of interesting because I'm starting to look at you men and going, well, if you're just going to stand there and do nothing, it seems to me that I meant to comment on the way you look. That man is one of the few men that keeps his youthfulness about him. That one, with his nose falling all the way down into his mouth, not so much. That one's had too much of a pot-bellied pig before him. I'm pointing at, if you're going to, in origin, be ineffectual, keep standing up to look ineffectual, you're only leaving me with one thing to meet some amiability, and that's to comment on your looks, your presentability. If you're good for nothing, why aren't you even trying to look presentable? even. It's kind of a curious flip. It really is. Because women are usually present themselves and then everyone squawks on them. Well, it's not right from my angle. Thus, also the importance as women to get on the same page. And don't put your titties before actually getting nude. Honestly. Also let Sarah Thurston know the African American woman in that orange Mustang who's parking in handicapped, and then someone else. So you got handicapped parking, someone's parking there, then there's that space with the lines in it where no one should be parking. Orange Mustang girl's parking there, is leaving me scant room to get in, okay? It's leaving me scant room to get through those two cars to get in through the door, okay? Maybe if you have the cause to look at the tapes in the parking lot, you can look at those license plates and give them a refresher course on why they shouldn't be parking there. Seriously. Try and manage my own variables and you know, with limited energy. I've just got one fucking leg and I get tired bouncing around on it. Okay? Yet I too need food. To manage the variables of, oh, you dipshit with 2 legs and a fancy car in these parts, I don't know how you earned that. Okay, I have to say that much, Orange Mustang girl. I don't know how you earned your vehicle. And you're parking gratuitously in, cause I know, I see you at the gym, you're at World Gym. So your license plate, She-Rock. You park in the handicapped or you park in the line where no one should be parking, okay? To protect your fancy car that I still don't know how you earned, honestly. That was not fun. I went grocery shopping. I get to talk to Richard McGilvary at my back at length and have no recourse to put a cork in it. Then I have to maneuver around 2 dipshits that like to park, you know, side by side when neither one of them are handicapped. You know, come on. I'm still fuming about Richard McGilvary insinuating his dog barks because he hears me thumping around in here. Seriously, if I were a dude and I didn't reason even, I'd be punching his lights out. And I wanted to stop with the lights. I'd make sure I indented the nose and forced in some teeth too. Chew on that. Chew on your own fucking teeth. I'm not here, Richard McGilvary, for you to make any bullshit up on me. None at all. When I tell you your dog is making noise, it's because it's fucking making noise. And it's making too much noise. Okay? And it's due to you and your negligence. And what do you do with that? You add gratuitously more negligence for me to stuff into my fucking ears. My ears hear just fine. I'm not here for you to post bullshit upon bullshit upon bullshit and then make up a whole host of nefarious people that you never thought one-on-one with, okay? To be subsumed in my presence. Fuck. Oh my God. You have a therapy dog you don't spend fucking time with. What is this for? So you can have the opportunity to create more nuisance and cast your word on it to be for red? Poor me. I didn't know better again. I bet you have a comment about Pamela Anderson's tits. I bet you do. Now, he's not going to ask Pamela Anderson what's wrong with her, because Pamela Anderson isn't doing real work right here. When we look at Jerusalem, Palestine, Israel, okay, look, this is a show. It's a show for no reason, okay? It's a show to hide the distraction that not one of you jacked off, framing, thieving, and doff to talk. Not one of you can conceive here. Okay? That's what it is. That over there, he heard thou with wars again. Oh, be in our behalf. That's a show. It's a distraction. And you're hiding the fact that you can't conceive here in any sustainable fashion. So let's talk about your desire. Neil. Let's talk about the nail you would desire. Neil. Let's talk about the women you want to nail. Neil. What are we talking of capacity with your nail? Neil. Your capacity to feel for real. To reason. Your reason, what you're calling reason is continuity, and your continuity is based on squatting on women. W, parentheses, HOMEND. Universally. Because Dow with war, -T, to get toft, so your ag gets rich, fort no reason thief end, is a universal premise at this point. You know, maybe except for the Aborigines, but they did come up with the boomerang. Which is pretty ingenious without a language. I don't think they have a language. I'm not certain. But for a tribe of people that's not considered to be very sophisticated, I think they do understand hunting as energy return. What you throw out, you get back. Boomerang. Okay. It's clean and it's elegant. You may think it's not sophisticated because it's not wordy enough. Its value is in its constitutional essence. I don't need Richard McGilvary to add any fucking words on me, because his words began here, and he only cares about continuing there. All right? He is a waste. He is a wasteful propagation to keep in place. And the only way he could keep his wasteful propagation in place is on someone who's real, okay? And then his friendship is based on material loss of bringing all other stupid doff to two-toff countenance to feel, feed, and field. Hyphenate it. I go to your court, you don't know who I am, you think that I'm not polite if I'm not kind. I'm like, you're bullshit. You're bullshit to even call me there because you're not doing real work right here. You never cared, you never carried value. And you make money so you can continue to propagate wastefulness. Living right next to me. Like I said, I'm not putting an artificial penis in Richard McGilvary's mouth. And I'm certainly not putting artificial money in it either. But he's supported by you. You to dudes, okay? Do wed dudes.